Welcome to the Bendito Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today, folks. I nearly collapsed when I saw what I'm about to talk about. My heart nearly melted in my being when I saw what we're about to talk about. I shed a tear when I saw what we're about to talk about. So often we have these media outlets. So often we have these WNBA reporters, these journalists, if you will, covering the WNBA and the Unrivaled and the CBA negotiations. So often they refuse to point out the conflict of interest. And by so often, I mean every opportunity until now. Shout out to these two ladies that we're about to get into. Every chance they get until now, they ignored the clear conflict of interest between Unrivaled, their co-founders, being in the negotiation rooms with the Players Association and the owners when it comes to a CBA deal. Hasn't been talked about from reputable sports outlets until now. These other companies, ESPN, front office, they've been playing cover for the players. The bias reporting, the one-sidedness of the reporting. Though you know what? Maybe if we don't mention this, fans won't even notice it. Reporting. But shout out to these two ladies that we're about to talk about. But before we do, please like the video, comment, and subscribe. Do you folks remember this from earlier in the season? Collier and Stewart told ESPN that their work for Unrivaled and the WNBA Players Association does not create a conflict of interest, but instead helps highlight areas that need improvement. It's not a conflict yet, Stewart told ESPN. I think it's just a little different. The things we can take from Unrivaled are the TV deal and how huge and incredible that was, but also the numbers behind it. Like having 3 games per week. People were constantly paying attention to it. Constantly paying attention to it. Forget it. Whether it's Fee or me or someone else at Unrivaled, we understand that's the standard now. That's what we expect when we come back to the W. It's not a conflict of interest yet. We can strike, but not yet. Sound familiar? Indeed. Then we have Nafisa Collier clapping back at this fan. Shout out to you, Evelyn. So let me get this straight. Breanna Stewart is president. Nafisa Collier is vice president. I think Breanna Stewart has a different title than president. They co-founded Unrivaled, a league that benefits if there's a WNBA lockout. And they're the ones leading CBA negotiations. How do you negotiate in good faith, make it make sense? And then Nafisa Collier, in her feelings the morning after, maybe a little tipsy. It's July 5th. I'll give her some slack. So let me get this straight. While everyone else was enjoying fireworks, you were thinking about how me and Stewie, of all people, are conspiring to force a lockout that would result in less money year-round for WNBA players? Well, yeah, Fee. Yeah. If there's no WNBA season and people are fans of women's basketball, they want to watch a different professional women's basketball Unrivaled. Oh, you guys benefit. Okay. If there's no WNBA season, players don't have anywhere to play. Well, now Unrivaled can get those players. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Scarcity creates value. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Before we were hearing talks about exclusivity. Yeah, we'll pay you. Imagine the owners turn around, come back. Yeah, we'll give you the $2.5 absurd $1 million contracts that you're asking. Unrivaled's canned. Unrivaled's done. Shut it down. If these scholars say, oh, no. That's a conflict of interest. Clear conflict of interest everywhere you look in regards to this. But not only that, we were fortunate enough to have Sophie Cunningham point out the conflict of interest. This is good. This is some kind of tea. So both of Collier and Stewart, great effing players, right? Like phenomenal, Cunningham said to her co-host. But they are also a part of the exec board. And so that could be a little conflict of interest because W and Unrivaled. That's why there's some conflict of interest, a little bit. So that's interesting with a wry smile. Sophie Cunningham said this on her podcast. And now we get to these two all-stars. The two ladies of the hour, if you will. The last of the dying breed. Now, I pardon me, ladies, I haven't really watched you guys, so I don't know what you've said in the past. All I know is that this gets on my radar, And the first impressions are big impressions. And this is my first impression of you guys. So shout out to Cassandra Negley and shout out to Caroline Fenton. To say there is no conflict of interest is absolutely ridiculous because there is. Oh, let's hear it.
What do you make of the idea of the conflict of interest between Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart and the interest of Unrivaled may not necessarily aligning with the interest of the W?
Well, Fee and Stewie are not only WNBA players. They are on the executive committee. So as is Kelsey Plum, she's playing in Unrivaled. 3 of the 7 people on that board who can now vote for a strike are part of Unrivaled. That is not necessarily a bad thing. I think the thing about conflict of interest, though, is just the simple fact that you as a person have interests that conflict with one another. Yeah. The key thing is just keeping in mind that that is there. The facts of it are Fee and Stewie run this league that makes them money. There are players who played in the first season who have equity in the league who are able to make money off of this league, right? And that's the thing, is just to keep it in mind that these are 2 different things. If we want to go all the way back, like players have been playing overseas the entirety of the WNBA. That is also a conflict of interest because, as we know, the schedules overlap. You have to make decisions, all of these kinds of things. But to say that there's no conflict of interest is absolutely ridiculous.
Damn! Absolutely ridiculous. You hear that, Fee? Absolutely ridiculous. You hear that, Stewie? Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, shout out to you. We go on.
Because there is.
Of course there is. Oh. You can say that you'll take your personal interest out of something, but we're all human, right? Like, these biases exist. You can't always totally and completely take maybe a personal interest out of something else. Is it a concern of yours, though?
It's always going to be a concern of mine, no matter what we're talking about. And I say this, like, obviously as a journalist, right? Like, this is kind of the number one thing. So I always am concerned that it becomes a part of it. You know, I would hope when you're talking about Stewie and Fee that they understand that as well and can compartmentalize that just like athletes do for anything. But it is certainly a part of these talks and it cannot be overlooked.
Wow. Good for these 2. Good for these 2 ladies. Wow. Wow. Have we ever heard this from an outlet like Yahoo Sports? No. It's just been us here on YouTube and on Twitter and on social media. It is what it is. But we haven't heard it from somebody like this before. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. Of course it's a conflict of interest. You'll be told you hate women for saying this, though. Oh, yeah, before I get into the comments, these 2 ladies are officially not invited to the cookout. Nope. Nope. They're no longer invited to the cookout. And do you know who's going to take back that invitation? Paige Beckers. Yeah, I said. Paige Beckers is going to go up to these ladies and give me that back. You're not invited to the cookout. I thought you were cool. No. Finally, someone in the WNBA space not afraid to call it what it is. Of course, there's a conflict of interest, but the WNBA Players Association doesn't do anything about it. The WNBA can't afford to have a lockout year, so whenever the deal they need to do it, need to progress the league, increase pay, revenues, let 18-year-olds get drafted, and make a G League. I mean, it's really hard not to see this, right? Woo! She didn't go hard enough. Oh, snap. This needs to be called out so much louder and shame the retards trying to gaslight that there's no conflict. Damn. Fee is a piece of you know what? And it's her husband who's actually pulling the strings. Wow. I didn't know it was gonna get like, hey, pardon me. Hey, I'm just reading the comments. I'm just reading the comments. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Of course, it's a conflict of interest. Let all the drones know out there. you're just lying to yourself. The same people that are saying it's not a conflict of interest are the same people that have been enabling these players' behaviors for the last 30 years, which is why they feel like they're entitled to the money that they are demanding. Need I say more? Mike, whatever. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. That would mean so much to me. I'll see you next time, and as always, take it easy.